In this video, we're going to have a look through every main RobTop level in Geometry Dash and see which levels should have a change in difficulty. Okay, let's start with Stereo Madness and Back on Track. Both of these levels in my opinion are and should be the same difficulty. Their gameplay difficulty is similar, and if you can beat Stereo Madness then you can beat Back on Track just fine. So I'll have to keep both of these levels at the easy rating. Polargeist is currently rated normal, and I don't see how it's any harder than Back on Track. The only main mechanic introduced in this level is the yellow orb, which I think isn't that hard at all to use even for very new players. The gameplay difficulty is also way too similar to Back on Track, and for this reason I think it should be easy rated instead of normal. Dry Out is harder than Polargeist, but only by a little. It introduces the reverse gravity portal, which I think does make the level harder, especially if you're a new player. The gameplay is just slightly harder than the previous level, but the difficulty between these levels is not a lot, so in my opinion the difficulty should remain as normal. Base After Base is only slightly harder than Dry Out, but I don't think it's hard enough for the level to be rated harder. The difficulty of gameplay from this level is way too similar to Dry Out, so I would say this level should be changed from a hard to a normal rating, as it's similar to Dry Out. Now when we look at Can't Let Go and Jumper, for many people they realize Jumper is actually an easier level, and they usually beat it before they beat Can't Let Go. The gameplay of Can't Let Go is very slightly harder than both Jumper and Base After Base. Some people find the reverse gravity ship part of Jumper to be quite difficult, while others seem to find the reverse gravity section in Can't Let Go to be more difficult. I think it depends on the person whether Can't Let Go or Jumper is more difficult of a level. I think for this reason, and them still being similar in difficulty, I'm going to keep Can't Let Go as a hard rated level and change Jumper to a hard rated level instead of being a harder level, because Jumper is clearly not that much harder than Can't Let Go for it to be a whole difficulty above it. Time Machine, Cycles and X-Step all have a very similar gameplay difficulty, with maybe X-Step being just slightly harder, but not hard enough to be on its own separate difficulty. Time Machine has a lot of triple spikes and includes the mirror portal, but I don't think the mirror portal really makes the gameplay that much more difficult, so this level should remain as a harder level. So Cycles introduces the bowl game mode, which that gameplay for it is quite easy, and also there's the ship part with the consistent gravity changing portals, which might be a little harder, but I don't think overall that this level is any more difficult than Time Machine, so again I'll have to leave the rating as it is, as a harder level. X-Step introduces the blue pads and orbs, which in my opinion they are pretty easy once you know how they work. The gameplay isn't super difficult and I don't see it being much harder than the previous two levels, so I'm going to rate this as also a harder level instead of an insane level. Okay, so what about Clutter Funk? This level introduces the minigame mode. The level in my opinion is notably harder than the other levels, with the gameplay being more harder because of the more challenging jump timings, especially in the second half of the level, but also for some people the first ship part is actually quite difficult. So this level proves to be more challenging than X-Step, and with X-Step being one of the more challenging harder rated levels, it means that Clutter Funk should not be a harder rated level since it's harder than X-Step, so I'm going to say the difficulty of Clutter Funk should be kept the same as an insane level. Hero of Everything introduces the UFO game mode. Despite there being a lot of easy sections in this level, there are also some parts in this level which can be quite challenging for players. I don't have much else to say about this level, and I don't think this level is easier or harder than Clutter Funk, so I think the rating should remain as insane. Now, Electroman Adventures. This level in my opinion, despite the very different style of gameplay, is actually similar in difficulty compared to X-Step. I don't think the level should be rated as insane, as Clutter Funk and Hero of Everything feel like harder levels, so I'm going to bring this level down from an insane rating to a harder rating. Okay, so what about Club Step? This level is obviously much harder than all the other levels we've looked at so far, and the gameplay is quite difficult and requires a lot of precise timings. This level is currently rated as Demon, however if we look at the different Demon ratings, this level should fall under an easy Demon. I think instead of the level displaying just a Demon difficulty, it should instead display the difficulty of an easy Demon. Electrodynamics. There's a bit of debate whether this level should be a demon level or not. In my opinion, I think there are parts of this level, especially after 60%, which are very much demon difficulty. However, there are also some parts mainly in the first half of the level, which are quite easy and are insane difficulty. It somewhat feels like Electrodynamics is kind of an introduction into demon difficulty levels. If you can beat Electrodynamics, then you are ready to attempt the demon level. If we compare Electrodynamics to other insane levels, you would think that Electrodynamics is a harder difficulty. To me at least, it doesn't seem right that this level is on the same difficulty as, for example, Finger Dash, Theory of Everything, or even Clutter Funk. I'm somewhat on the fence at the moment if these other insane levels should be downgraded to the harder difficulty, or if Electrodynamics should just be changed to a demon. But it doesn't feel right for Electrodynamics to be the only insane rated level, so I'm gonna have to change its difficulty to Easy Demon instead of Insane. Okay, Hexagon Force. This level is easier than Electrodynamics, and in my opinion there are some parts in this level such as the dual sections which are similar in difficulty to the other insane levels. However, apart from the dual parts in this level, it feels more like a harder level. The only reason I'm keeping it as an insane difficulty is because of these few dual parts in the level which do make the level more challenging. Blast Processing is easier than Hexagon Force and is similar in difficulty to the other harder levels. There's nothing that stands out from this level that makes it difficult, and overall I think it's just a fun level to sit back and play without worrying about dying to it that often. So I would say this level can remain as a harder rating. Theory of Everything 2. Now this level is obviously a demon rated level again, but what type of demon? I think the difficulty is similar to Club Step, so I would have to rate it as an easy demon. Okay, what about Geometrical Dominator? This level doesn't have any major difficult sections, except maybe the memory part towards the end of the level, which some people dislike and struggle with a lot. But this section still isn't that difficult, especially once you play and learn this section, and considering that there are small stars which guide you to where you need to jump next, this part isn't really that difficult. The difficulty should remain as a harder level. If maybe the memory part was removed and some of the moving objects were more sight readable, then this level would have been changed to a hard level. Now let's look at Deadlocked. This level is a demon level and it's slightly harder than the other official demon levels, so should it be an easy or a medium demon? I think some parts of this level make it feel like a medium demon, such as both the first main wave and the dual wave part. However, in my opinion, most of this level is easy demon difficulty. I've played a fair amount of easy demon levels and Deadlock doesn't feel much harder than these, so I have to rate it as an easy demon level. Although because of the wave sections, Deadlock could still be argued as a medium demon, but I guess that depends on the player. Finger Dash. This level is not difficult like Deadlocked and it's actually quite easy. I would say it's easier than the current insane rated levels, with only the main part of this level being difficult is maybe the mini wave section or the second spider part where you're going 2x speed. But a lot of people find this easy and it's easier than the other insane levels in my opinion, so I'm gonna have to bring it down from an insane rated level to a harder rated level. And finally we have the level Dash. Apart from some of the level being quite confusing or unsight readable, for example the first spider part, this level isn't actually that hard. Once you know what you actually need to do for these parts, the level becomes quite easy, and probably isn't any harder than, let's say, Finger Dash. So I'm gonna have to change this difficulty from insane to a harder rated level. And that's every level. I decided not to change the stars of each level because, honestly, I have no idea how to properly change them, but maybe the stars of each difficulty in the main levels should just be the same as the amount of stars given for custom level difficulties. If you guys have different opinions, then please leave a comment, and yeah, that's about it. Okay, bye.